Hey STAT students, welcome to the explanation of the term project. I just wanted to go into a little bit of detail of what to expect as you start to work on your term projects for this course. If you scroll down to the homepage and click on term project down here, you'll kind of see a bunch of different resources that are provided to you. The first one, of course, is this video, so just make sure you watch this first. And then the second thing is the actual instructions for the term project, and then the Dropbox of where you will be submitting that. So that's there. I want to go over the term project instructions first, so you just kind of have a general understanding of what to expect, and then I'll explain some of these as well. All right, so the term project is going to be really just understanding and analyzing research data from academic journals. So it's going to be introduced to you kind of in the middle of the semester, and then you're going to have the rest of the semester to kind of work on this. It's going to be due at the end of the class. It's going to count for 25% of your overall grade in the course. So just keep that in mind as you kind of organize your time to work on this. So the main thing that you're going to do is I want you guys to take away really understanding, reading through academic journals and research and the statistical data that you're reading through, because throughout the course you're learning how to calculate and data on your end. And now when you're reading through different academic journals, I want you guys to understand like what that information means as you read through it. Hopefully this assignment kind of provides more clarity in that as you continue to work through your mind tap exercises and gain more understanding and kind of computing that information. So I want you guys to find examples of statistical analysis in various research studies. And to do that, you can use Google Scholar and you can use the MCC library. Okay, I have links there if you need them, but you can of course just go to our library or go to Google Scholar. So you're going to select 3 psychological research journal articles, and I want to make sure that I emphasize psychological. Okay, so remember, this is a stats course for behavioral sciences, so just make sure that the studies you're finding are psychological, and that they're going to examine a quantitative research method. Okay, it could be a mixed quantitative and qualitative, but it has to have quantitative methods in there. And they gather data and analyze the results. So the articles you select must be written within the field of psychology, and they need to include statistical analysis within the research. Okay, so whatever topics that you choose to use, they have to have these different components listed. Also, you're going to provide a brief explanation or summary of the research question that was examined, which is going to be done basically 3 times because you're selecting 3 different studies to do. Okay, and remember, everything is going to be paraphrased. So you should not be copying and pasting anything. You should not be taking abstracts and copying and pasting them. What you need to be doing is reading through the article and getting a good understanding of what it is, and then going back and paraphrasing that information for each of the sections. You're going to identify the research variables and list each of the independent and dependent variables that are associated with your study. Okay, so if there's multiple things that they're looking at, make sure you write down all of them and define which independent or dependent variable they are. State and explain the research design that was used within the study. So it could be quantitative, it could be qualitative, but you want to make sure that as long as there's some sort of statistical analysis for that, the quantitative aspect. Okay, and then you're going to state and explain the research methodology. So that could be like a correlational design, an experimental design, maybe a descriptive or a quasi-experimental, whatever it is, just go ahead and state the methodology. Then you're going to provide information on the population size sample. So, just describe what that is, just whatever sample that they used. You're going to describe the measurement instrument in detail. So, if they used a specific questionnaire or survey, you want to make sure that you explain that in detail, provide examples maybe of how many questions or the type of questions that were asked. Then you're going to present the descriptive statistics that were used within each study. So you want to state how that they were used and how these were helpful in gathering the data. So remember, you're paraphrasing all this information as you write it, and I kind of remind you that. Then you're going to provide a summary of the analysis of the data that was collected. Again, paraphrasing this into your own words. And then you're going to state the limitations. So what limitations did the researchers encounter as they were conducting the study? And what future recommendations did they list down for the study? And again, paraphrasing this information into your own words. And then the last thing you're going to do, remember, you're going to critically think what improvements could be made to each study if they were conducted again. And I know that maybe some of these might be listed for future recommendations, but again, you're critically thinking and you're kind of saying, well, if I was the researcher and I did this study, what improvements do you think I would have made if it was going to be done again, and provide, explanations as to that. So your project requirements, again, you have to have 3 different summaries from 3 different psychological research studies. And those are different, the different components that are listed, steps 1 through 11 are what I mean by the components. So if you select a non-psychological study or multiple studies, your summaries will not be graded. And I just want to make sure that you understand that, okay? So again, I will emphasize psychological studies. So each of your 3 analyses should be divided into 3 different sections with the different outline components that I kind of went over already. And then the minimum word requirement is 750 for each summary. Okay, so each summary has to be at least 750 words. If you go over, that's okay. Try not to go over too much, but if you go over a little bit, that's all right. And each section must be complete in order to get the full credit. So, when you multiply 750 times 3, you're going to get around 2,250 words for all 3 sections. All right. And then your analysis, of course, should be done in APA formatting. The reference that you'll list for each study is, of course, the one that you're referencing, and there needs to be citations throughout. So remember, anytime you're stating something from the study, you have to have a citation. So really, you should have citations throughout your entire paper because you're going to be talking about the same study throughout, okay? And then your project grading is going to be done this way. And I also have a rubric in terms of what you can be looking for the actual assignment, okay? Remember, do not copy and paste any information into the template because it won't be tolerated or accepted, and I will give you a 0 for it, and you don't want a 0 for this because it's worth 25% of your overall grade, all right? You have to have a reference page, you have to have in-text citations, and then you're going to submit it to the Dropbox. All right, so in terms of the Dropbox, this is what that looks like. If you click on here, it shows the directions or the instructions again, and then the different rubrics, okay? So this is all combined into 300 points. So, for each different one that you have, I multiplied it by 3. So maybe you did really, really well on 2 of your 3 different, research studies that you're looking at. So I'll take that into account, and then I'll add them all together, and then you'll get a number based on all 3 of them. All right, just so you understand that. So that's what the Dropbox looks like, and that's what the rubric looks like. So that's under here, under the template. If you click on the template right here, this shows you where you're going to be writing all of this. So you can go ahead and download this and then complete each of the different parts. So you're going to have the article number 1. So put the title here, explain each section, and I even remind you to paraphrase. You're going to fill out this whole thing, keep everything formatted the way it is, just take out the information that I put in the bullet points, write those in full sentences, and then you can move on to the next one. Here's the second article. And then again, here's the third article, okay? So this is all going to be done on this template. All you have to do is find 3 different studies, fill out all the information, and make sure that you're detailed, make sure that you have citations throughout, and that you're paraphrasing the information. That's number 1 key, okay? You will be turning this into Turnitin, so you want to make sure that your similarity report is low, all right? Try to get it, as low as you can. I'll look at it, but if it seems too high, you might want to redo it. Anything really over 20% is too high, so make sure that you're correcting that. And then I have this last tab about APA formatting. If you have any questions, you can always come back and look at these references. All right. Again, that should be a good starting point. If you guys have any questions, of course, you can always ask. good luck. And I look forward to kind of seeing the different psychological studies you find, the different analysis that is used. And I will guess I'll look forward to reading everything. And I'm here if you have any questions.